For us, schooling, we wanted to have the same belief system as us, so we wanted to send our children to a Christian school because they have the same ethos as us, and that was important for us as a family. And when we found the school that fit us as a family, and it was close in our local area, which I feel is excellent for friends, we then found out that funding for children with disabilities in independent schools is possibly 1/10 of what it would be if you went to a public school.
The mainstream school system wasn't working for Claudia, it just wasn't right for her, and so we ended up finding a lovely little community school with just 20 students, which was really welcoming, and she really felt that she belonged there. However, because it was a private school, she lost $22,000 of her funding, which really equated to her losing, a full-time aide to going down to 2 hours a week of aid time.
For Michael, I know the maximum amount of funding he can get is $3,700, compared to I think it's about $37,000. And so we knew there was going to be, approximately, a $30,000 shortfall in what he would be able to get and he needs a full-time aide. So Michael currently is dual schooled. He goes to a special school 4 days a week, and he goes to a mainstream school 1 day per week. At the moment, our goal is socialisation, which I think is an important goal for anyone. That's just how the world works. And he needs a full-time aide with him. He needs help with toileting, with eating. His hand skills are very low, so he needs help with everything.
When we changed schools from the state system to the private system, Claudia had to be reassessed for funding, and that took quite a while. That took a couple of months to get that underway, and in that time she didn't have an aide at all. She was left in the classroom. The teachers were trying to work with her and help her. She just found it so difficult. She wandered around. She didn't know what to do with herself. She wanted me to be there, but I couldn't be there. And there was just no help for her. There was nothing for her. She really loved being there because it was small and it was like being at home, and she really belonged there and enjoyed it, but she just couldn't be there. There was nothing, there was no funding for her. No one knew what to do for her. They tried very hard, but in the end she needed her own aide, and she wasn't going to get one. I've had to put her back in the special school where, she comes home with bad behaviour. She's angry at the end of the day. Some of the children are violent, and she can't cope with that. She has difficulty coping with that, and she models their behaviour in that she models their behaviour. She'll yell and scream at me, she'll hit out at me, and she wasn't doing that before. In the mainstream school, she didn't have that attitude, she didn't have that behaviour. She hits, she screams, she runs away, she's defiant, she's angry. She's always angry, and I don't like sending her there, but there's nowhere else to send her, and she needs to be with other kids. I just think, well, she was entitled to have an aide at a mainstream school. What's the difference? Just because she moved schools to a school that worked better for her, why take her funding away? She still needs the same amount of help. She still needed the same aid time. Nothing changed, just the school changed. That was it, really.
If he doesn't have the support he needs, he kind of keeps to himself and finds it hard to interact with the other children. He finds it hard to move around the room. So just having an extra person there in the room is such a help for the teacher with so many children in the class, and even just for Michael to be able, even to help him sit down at the table. He just needs someone constantly there. The only way that we could bridge the gap was to do fundraising. We don't have spare, $20,000 odd a year to be able to pay for an aide. So we have decided to do fundraising, which is an extra burden Honestly, it's very hard to do. There's so many things that we could fundraise for, and yeah, I just find it hard to accept that other people are getting the same amount of funding, and if he went to a different school, he would get that funding. Going to a mainstream school has such a wider variety of academic activities that Michael misses out on because he goes to, has to attend a special school so many days.
You have to get everything moving yourself. You have to get the processes moving in order for her to have what is given to every other child. They don't get that. It's a fight for everything. Every little thing is a fight. You have to fight for it. And that's what I found most difficult. It took up a lot of our time. You know, you had to fight for every resource, every bit of money, everything. It's just very difficult.